In preparation of the 4th International Zero Suicide Summit, we traveled to the United States, to Harvard, to meet one of the top professors of suicidology, Professor Mathew Nock. So Mathew and I agree that suicidology is a field like a fighter pilot field. It is dangerous, it is, you have to be audacious, and you have to be really, really cool with your work. But did we win any fights? Are we winning the war?
I also, though, get frustrated that we're not doing enough. We're trying to push forward, but I feel like progress isn't happening quickly enough. The suicide rate is still the same. A colleague at Duke, Kelly Brownell, who's the Dean of Public Health and Policy there, and he talks about the importance of impact. And we as scientists often think about impact by what are we publishing, and what are our findings and discoveries, and how many people are citing our work. It's such a crazy way to think about it. Impact is, are we changing the suicide rate? Are we saving lives?
Yeah.
Do we have evidence that what we're doing is actually working? And so I often think of that. I get sidetracked and think about, well, it's nice we have this new finding, we have this new paper, and isn't this nice and interesting? But it's really about, are we having an impact in people's lives, really? And not just in a cliched way, but are we moving the needle?
So Matt, where is the field now?
I flash back in my mind to 100 years ago, 200 years ago, when people said, the human body is just too complex. The circulatory system, whatever that is, how could we ever possibly understand that? Right. The heart, how could we ever understand that? We don't have the tools, we don't have the understanding. It's in the body, how can we ever look at it? But here we are. I think in suicide, we're at that stage where we were 100 years ago with other aspects of human nature. We don't understand it. We can throw our hands up and say, we'll never understand the heart, we'll never understand the circulatory system. Or we can say, well, how do we get better? What's the next step? We're running our leg of the race as scientists, as I think about it, and we can run faster and help people push us further, but we need to learn how to pass the baton. We need to take what we're finding. We need to have better we need to have better, more original research. We know that mental disorders predict suicide. We know that there are a lot of things that are known knowns. Let's move beyond those. That's our part. But our part is also passing the baton to think about, well, how do we translate the science? How do we, if we have a new finding or a new prediction method, how do we get that in the hands of clinicians? How do we get it in the hands of how do we get the information in the hands of people who do public policy, public change, and try and get a lot of what we know out there?
There's still so much to understand about suicide, but are we doing enough?
We need public health models. We need to find methods at scale for our prediction, but also for intervention. Again, it's us running this little race where we're trying to do one-to-one therapy, and if we get effects, that's great. That's not going to reach the majority of people who need help. So I think EMA, social media, related approaches will give us, I think, better data, more real-time data, but also a plug-in to that baton pass to say, now that we're in the network and can better predict, what can we do to start turning levers in the network to try and drive the behavior down? And we can test lots of things quickly, more efficiently. Once we find effective things, then we can spread those across the network. Yes, you're doing stuff, but the meter's not moving. We can do that. We can keep doing work and publishing papers and seeing patients and doing what we're doing. That to me is complacent. People are dying. One of my best friends killed himself a few weeks ago.
I'm so sorry to
thank you. It's a reminder of this is happening. I mean, happening to we all have people who continue to be at risk. Many of us continue to be at risk. It's happening. And to me, those of us who are privileged to work in this field have a responsibility to move us forward. And to just keep doing the same little thing over and over again is maddening. So I think zero suicide it's aspirational, it's aggressive, but we have to move the needle, and it holds us to account to say we could be there. Yeah, we're not going to be there next year. We're not, and I'll spoil the surprise. But we've got to give beyond what we're doing. We've got to break out of the molds we're in, and we've got to acknowledge that what we're doing is insufficient. We've got to push forward on all of these fronts.
So here's a fighter pilot professor for you, Mathew Nock. His message: we should go further, we should go beyond our current limits, use new technologies, and go for impact. Now this is what we will be doing in Rotterdam during the summit. Please be prepared and view our other videos. Professor Don Berwick and Professor Martin Scheffer. We will together move the needle in Rotterdam and write a little bit of history.